Examining the factors of production: land, labor, and capital. Further examination of the factors also indicate that there is a limitless potential for the production of capital and labor, only limited by desire, and these are checked by the availability and accessibility to land, in particular lands of value. These lands of value are rendered inaccessible or enclosed by either private or state ownership, from which a premium is exacted if use is desired of them. Lands of value are determined by society's perceived value of them. Lands perceived to be of commercial value are higher in value than lands perceived for industrial, residential, and agricultural use. Lands that are closer to or located in city centers have higher perceived commercial value because of the thoroughfare of traffic, either pedestrian or motor, that exists. Residential lands usually exhibit a gradation of value based on the type of adjacent housing, upscale or modest, the infrastructure, the level of crime and violence reputed within, and the general level of ambience or aesthetic evidence of the land itself. Agricultural lands also exhibit such a gradation based on fertility of soil, drainage, infrastructure, and access to market centers. Industrial sites usually require good access, good utilities, and possibly easy access to such facilities as ports, airports, and railway systems. Two important points need to be acknowledged in this. These land values are created in every case by the perceived value given to them by the society. And two, providence has rendered some lands more valuable than others. For example, it is seen that lands that are near the coast immediately render themselves commercially valuable, being proximate to possible port facilities that will allow easy importation and exportation of goods. Another point is that some lands are more fertile than others, making possible greater agricultural yields. And this is the difference in fertility. This difference in fertility is largely due to providence. The point is that landholders have very little to do with the creation of these values, but over time the society as a whole would have enhanced those values through capital projects and infrastructural improvements. Inevitably, individuals who would have inherited or acquired valuable lands would have benefited over time from the windfall that these societal interventions would have provided. They would have accumulated and acquired the means of acquiring more lands of value, and over time, all such lands would have been purchased and either put to use appropriately or held out of use. With the subsequent enclosure of all lands, either by the state or individuals, a premium is then demanded if it is desired for use by any interested parties. Many such parties do not have the means to acquire such lands, to put them to use, and hence employment is the only other alternative. But a significant number of these sites are either held out of use or underutilized, so you can now see the impact that this would have on employment opportunities. Every year, there are significant decreasing prospects, even for those who are well qualified for meaningful employment. This then is the dilemma. How do we cater to the burgeoning army of job seekers while observing the phenomenon of vacant or underutilized commercial, industrial, residential, and agricultural sites? How do we make employable the idle capital that is now parked up in the financial institutions? How can we effectively, efficiently, and lawfully bring together land, labor, and capital for production that will provide meaningful employment with wages and salaries of real purchasing power? How can society be organized in such a way to mitigate the perennial boom and bust economic cycles which render so many individuals bankrupt and deepen poverty levels? How can economic justice be promoted where every individual really does have a level playing field to live on, where an acceptable standard of living can be a reality for each and every family in the Republic? In the ensuing chapters, we will show how the imbalance in the factors of production has affected the labor market and employment opportunity and employment levels, the availability of housing, physical development and the environment, trade, commerce, agriculture, transportation, diversification, banking, local government, tax revenue, health services, education services, and social services. This disequilibrium is the unseen cause of the horrific crime situation we have today. The phenomenon also affects sports, culture, and the arts in a significant way. Each chapter will focus on each of these issues and will show how bringing the factors back into balance will positively affect and improve all situations. The modus operandi of all governments in the world today is primarily reactive to the situations that confront them. They never seek to or don't seem to be able to find out what are the true cause or causes that are bringing these perennial economic upheavals. The cliched description of being firemen out in the fires of social upheaval are not overused. It would be much better to determine how the society does work and how best it can be fixed so that economic justice and therefore peace is promoted. Just as the universe operates under precise laws, with the result that there are no intergalactic collisions, the laws that govern ideal economic relations may also be precise, and if followed, prosperity and peace will be the product. At this start of the 21st century, man has certainly evolved to the point where he has confronted and overcome many of the problems and issues that have previously challenged him. He may not have conquered all of them, and of them not conquered, poverty remains the most important issue. Admittedly, he has not genuinely tackled poverty because he has not gone back to first principles. He has to go back to the factors of production to do this. Without this examination, he will continue to be reactive and will eternally be consigned to perennial upheavals that we are observing everywhere. So this passage is taken from On Development, Innovative Solutions for the Development Dilemma Facing Trinidad and Tobago by Nigel Gittins. You can access our flagship course called Nature of Society for more on this subject. The link to access this is in the description or profile. Thank you.